Going to agriculture now and the discussion point of traceability. The Victorian state budget handed down its agricultural portfolio and said that they will put $11.7 million in towards traceability. And the Victorian Agriculture Minister has put in her position on this. But one has to ask, what is this about? The Minister's language says that she will be looking to increase farmers' knowledge and understanding. And the question being asked about this is this more knowledge and understanding of maybe where the government's heading in its more green-orientated practices of how it sees farming, or animal welfare practices the way it would see those in farming? The Minister's nominated livestock and horticulture as the areas to increase the knowledge and understanding. And surely one would have to ask what that's really about. There's another angle, though, to this, and that is that surely if they were really concerned about traceability, maybe the shoppers, as per a UK survey with the National Farmers Union in that part of the world, where they found that the consumer was more interested in knowing about how much the farmer got for the produce as compared to how much the wholesaler and the retailer were making, and whether the government was making its share too on it. So I think when we talk about traceability, consumers in Australia would like to have a bit more transparency and traceability about the government's agricultural policies. But this is an interesting one in New South Wales, where there's been a project at the Emu Plains prison. It's a project where they've got farmland within the prison quarter, and they've been able to grow sorghum hay. So in this case, they are providing a different type of bale. Yes, bales of hay for those in drought-stricken areas of New South Wales, which has been a blessing, say, those farmers, one a dairy farm and another a cattle farm, that have received that hay. But you start to ask the question about whether or not the prison farms may well be able to use income for the purpose of even further rehabilitation. It's interesting because in South Australia at Cadell, Northfield and Port Lincoln, they have corrections facilities there, where at Cadell they have a 4,000-acre rural environment where they have a dairy farm, citrus and olives. They even have the local country fire service staffed by custodial staff, members of the public and prisoners from the minimum security facility. In Victoria, at the Durangale prison, there's a minimum security there where men actually in the northeast of Victoria, near Shepparton actually, if you're looking at the location, they specialise in transition of the prisoners into what would be a normal life outside. So even the beds and the units that they work and live in are part of that. And they actually, at this farm, are creating the ability where the prisoners staff a local dairy. They create 7,000 litres of milk a day, and 328 men are accommodated at Durangale, and these are opportunities to stimulate living scenarios that prisoners would then be able to put in place when they return to the public. And I think this is really well thought through. If you can get the people, maybe particularly in horticulture, in dairying, in agriculture, where there is a need for farm hands and so on, get these prisoners into a trained situation. In the case of each of these rehabilitation programs, they learn metalwork, some learn woodwork, others learn gardening and horticulture. Then there is an opportunity to come out of prison and be rehabilitated to carry on in a normal way of life. I think it's a very encouraging thing. And again, we should be looking to do that, in particular given the lack of numbers of people coming in from overseas to do the work on farms at the moment.